This book you're writing,
Yes.
do you have a title?
I'm not going to do that yet because it's evolving. I'm interviewing warriors and family members and talking about my experience with Jesse and how you survive and cope with, all the challenges. And some of the interviews are pretty grueling. I kind of felt like I had a case of PTSD last week when I interviewed one of them, because he told me, don't take a pass. You have to talk about the ugliness of war, because people have to get that. When they support us, they have to understand, what they need to support. And so he didn't spare me any details, and it's really a good segment. It really makes you think, and I'm getting a lot of that. So,
Was this book something you felt compelled to write?
Yes.
Like you had to write this.
Yeah, I'm driven to write this because I think America can check out if they don't understand. And so if you tell the stories and these families talk about, what they do to cope with deployments, what they deal with when they get back, what they deal with when they're injured, how they cope with the nightmares, the death, This warrior I interviewed last week, they have a motion sensor outside the bedroom door because the family had to learn that you cannot just run in there and wake him up because he'll go into a reactive, and it's been 4 years since he was injured in Iraq. And so there's all these things that live with them, I asked him, the nightmares, are they one scene that plays out over and over? And he said there's snippets of all these horror that come together in some kind of a dream, and it's always new and different, but it's always horrible, And so it's going to be a really interesting book.
How many people are you ultimately wanting to interview?
Well, at this stage, I'm aiming for 20 warriors in different scenarios, but I'm getting really good response from them. They're kind of cute about it, and I'm leaving it up to them whether I use their name or not. Some of them are green and some are not, because when you're on active duty, the military doesn't tend to really like you speaking out too much, about what you're doing. And anyway, no political views, because this isn't about their politics. It's just about their service and what they face in their service. And I feel really honored for them to trust me to be able to do these interviews.
How did you start into this? How did you get into writing this book? I mean, where did it come from? Other than you knew you were compelled, I've got to write this. Where did you start?
10 years of letters from my son and emails from my son cataloging his experiences, from that naive 19-year-old kid, in boot camp, to the 29-year-old, hardened battle warrior, and everything that went in between, and I always wanted to write it. But when I got talking to the warriors about it, the soldiers and the other families, it really became apparent to me this wasn't just my story, it was a story of a lot of different people all going through the same thing from all different branches of the service. And you'll hear that. There'll be, people in active combat, people in the support. Sergeant Porter, who is now my personal drill instructor, is going to be providing the logistical and technical explanations, so it'll be a little bit educational about the military too. And he's put me on a timeline, and this is where I'm kind of going, wow, I feel like I've enlisted. Anyway, the goal is to have it done by the end of the year.
By the end of the year. Mm-hmm. How far along
are you? I'm doing really
you?
good.
Yeah?
I've gotten about 5 of my interviews done, and I've gotten parts of it started. My part with Jesse is the hardest part for me to write, because I'm used to interviewing people, and writing their story. It's really hard when it's you,
So you actually put your story, you're going to put your story in
we'll
there.
weave that story. That's going to be kind of the, so it doesn't get too disjointed. I'll just start at the beginning with Jess, and then we'll weave these other stories in as they fit. And the warriors who don't want to be interviewed are giving me what it means to them to be a warrior, and what it means to serve, and what that culture is like. And I'm getting some really, really philosophical contributions from them.
Wow.
You're going to be impressed.
Yeah. Well, what's it like when you initially contact these families and soldiers? And you tell them you're writing a book? They're like, oh yeah, everybody's writing a book. Somebody's done a story, whatever, What makes you any different?
They want to talk. Well, because I'm one of them. I mean, I'm the military mom, and I know where I need to go and not go. I'm not going to put anything in there that endangers security, such as some names aren't going to be in there, and I know the parameters of that, and also, I can relate to it. So I think that they feel comfortable with me.
Yeah.
Because I give them a hard time.
Uh-huh. You don't take any, huh?
No, I tell these young soldiers over here, I'm a Marine mom. We get spanked by a Marine mom, it's not a good time. So I keep them in line, too.
Absolutely. Well, so some of the things maybe that you have learned during this process of writing the book that you didn't even realize, even though you are a Marine mom?
I do. I am learning from all of them because everybody handles their stresses differently, and there's common things. There's common things that people do, you know, especially the people left behind on a deployment day. Deployment days are horrible, you know, and everybody dreads them. And so everybody has their own coping mechanism, you know, whether it's one of the Army moms whose son is getting ready to leave for Iraq, who lives in the Dalles, pretty dangerous assignment, you know. She's going to be cleaning her house top to bottom because that is his second deployment. She has 2 sons serving, so they're always trading off. So this is her coping mechanism, you know, and so you're going to see a lot of that too. We all have coping mechanisms. We laugh about them, you know, ways we get through all of this. But
you find humor is a really important piece in all of this? Is that
Yes.
something that's a common thread?
Mm-hmm. I told her, I said, I do a pretty good job of cleaning an oven. I said, why don't I come over and join you? I'll bring a bottle of wine and we'll just have a good time cleaning your house, you know. And so you have to, what I'm trying to get across, and I think that this book does, we're all in this together. I mean, you know, we're only 1% of the nation, and if we don't take care of each other when we know the needs, then, you know, we're going to be in trouble. So it doesn't matter what branch your, you know, husband, spouse, kid, whatever is from. You're all part of the happy family, you know. So when you're having a bad day, pick up the phone and make a call, you know, because you'll have somebody out there that'll be able to relate to you.
Yeah, great support system.
Yeah, I'm just carrying a box of Kleenex to all these interviews because
I bet
they're very traumatic to sit through.
Yeah. Well, RaeLynn, thank you very much for your time, for your efforts, for all that you're doing, and God bless our troops and the work that they have to continue to do. And so tell your son hello and the best to him, and it's wonderful to get to see you again. So, you guys, gosh, you can always find out more about the Gorge Heroes Club and follow them on Facebook and all of that. So do it, check it out, support it, and remember, take care of each other. We'll see you next time.
Do you have a guest idea? Let us know. Go to localite.com.